Hello humans, welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Yelly or Yellbell Beauty here on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. Today is going to be a 3 looks 1 palette with the Moonlit Marsh, which is MBA Cosmetics X Basket Case Beauty, who is Lee. I want to disclose to everyone that Lee is my friend, so this could be kind of a biased review, but I'm going to try to be as unbiased as I can. I'm going to show you the palette. It's going to be very careful though. While I was filming my outro, you will see that the shade Lotus just like yeeted itself out of my palette as I held it up. And crazily, I could see how much glue was in there as I went to go glue this shade back in. So I don't know necessarily if that's like manufacturing the glue dried or the glue was loose, or while this was mailed to me, it was just sitting in the sun. I just did my 3rd look today. You're going to see that this is my 3rd look. This has been sitting in my makeup drawer. I don't necessarily know if the glue like remelted or something. I was able to pick up the shade and squish it back together. It is one of those squishy shades. It wasn't a huge deal. I am quite glittery. For me, it's like, it's fine. It'll work. That's not a huge deal to me, but just wanted to say that that's, you know, something that did happen. I want to be honest with all of you about that. So here is the palette itself. I think it's really fun. It's kind of swampy meets ethereal. And one thing that I tried while I did my 3 looks was to make sure that I used every single shade in this palette. So as of today, I have used every single shade in this palette, and my comprehensive thoughts are kind of given throughout, but I have had a lot of fun playing with this. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Past Yelly to do look number 1. So today I think I want to play with Polywog, which is like this bright green matte. I do think it has a little bit of sparkle in it, not like to the excess that I see in a ColourPop palette, but I do see some specks of glitter. I'm not sure if that's cast off from another shade from shipping or if there's actually glitter in there, so we'll find out. And then Moonshine I want to put all over my lid, so I think I'm gonna use a little bit of Violet as well. So let's see while we go. But I definitely want to put Polywog in the inner corner, so I'm going to zoom you in. I'm going to start off by priming my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. So to start off, I'm going to be taking that shade Polywog. I'm just going to take that on a Morphe M503. It's just a fluffy blending brush. I'm not seeing any kick up in the pan, so that is promising. I don't know what order these looks will be up, but this is the very first one that I'm actually filming, so I haven't really used this palette yet at all. Just gonna pop that in the inner corner. Okay, I'm not seeing any sparkles, so that might have just been coming off of some of the other shades. So this seems to be a true matte. Okay, blending on that shade, so far so good. I think it blended out pretty well. Next, I'm gonna take the shade Minnow, which is this gray color, and I'm gonna take that on a Blend Bunny B5. I don't see any kick up for that one either. These are all factory made shadows. None of them are hand pressed. That is kind of to be, you know, expected with the amount of eyeshadow palettes that the brand probably had to manufacture for a collab. I have never tried a matte from MBA before. These are the first. I've only had single shimmers from them. And on that same Blend Bunny B5, I'm going to take Violet, which is a violet purple. It is pretty deep. A little bit of kick up in that pan, like a tiny amount, but not anything extreme. I would be interested to see these on a white base. Any of you who have been here before know that I usually use a clear eyeshadow primer. Like regardless of the brand, I don't use a white base. I don't use concealer on my eye. So it would be interesting to see how these shadows look on that, because I do feel that this one in particular seems a little bit sheer, and I think a white base could probably help it pop a little bit more, but it seems to be layering just fine, so I don't have concerns, but it would be interesting to see, do they immediately pop on a white base or do they still require that layering? And the reasoning why it might need that layering at all is because these do seem to be pretty hard pressed, not like too hard, because obviously I'm getting color off, but like I was saying, there's not a lot of kick up, which means that you know, the shadows are pressed pretty hard. So that might be why. All I'm staring at in the mirror right now is my eyebrows. I'm trying to not like pluck them or shape them for a whole month just to see what they can get to, because if you grew up in the early 2000s, like when you were doing makeup like me, it was really cool to have literally no eyebrows, and I had really nice full eyebrows and people made fun of me for them, and I plucked them because peer pressure, and then they never grew back the same. So here's a message to all of you out there. Never give in to peer pressure, because your eyebrows will never grow back the same. Okay, next I'm gonna take the shade Nocturnal. I don't know if it's a black or if it's like a very deep gray, we will see, but I'm gonna take that on a Blend Bunny B4, and I'm just gonna deepen up that outer corner. This does in fact seem to be a black. Is it the blackest black in the world? No, but it is a good black. It's blending nicely, which I think honestly, sometimes with the blackest blacks, they are very hard to blend once you put them down. I think we've all been there. So far I literally have no complaints about this palette. I think that this palette could actually be very beginner friendly as well. Then I'm just gonna go back in with that same B5 from before and just take a little bit more of that purple. I do think I went a little too high here, so what I'm gonna do actually is take some powder and just blend that out. So I'm gonna take my Make Beauty Skin Mimetic powder. Now we are going to move on to shimmers. Okay, I think I'm gonna take Crawdad in the outer corner and then Moonshine kind of like all over the lid. I'm gonna take my NYX glitter glue on a flat brush. This is a JH41 from Morphe. Any flat brush is fine. So I'm gonna take Crawdad, which is like a deep teal with a little bit of purple reflect in there. I'm gonna put that on the outer corner. And now I'm gonna go in with Moonshine all over the lid. Oh yeah. This is the shade in the palette in particular that when I got it, I immediately wanted to play with it. There's always, you know, one or two shimmers where I'm like, ooh, that one. I want to touch that one. Okay, I think that looks really beautiful all over the lid. And then time to do the lower lash line. I am going to take Violet on the outer corner. This is an eyeshadow brush I got in a BoxyCharm. I have no idea what brand this is. I can't read the name of the brand. I apologize. It's just a flat smudging brush. And then on that same brush, I'm gonna clean it off. I'm gonna take Polywog. And I'm going to take a pencil brush. This is a Blend Bunny B3. I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade, which is a teal with a purple shift, and I think it's pronounced Helonious. I'm just gonna pop that in the inner corner. This one in particular does seem to be one of those like squishy putty shades that we often see from factory indie brands. I personally have no complaints. I know it's like a love them or hate them situation with these, so that is your warning if you hate the squishy shades. There is at least one in here. If I had to guess, I would say that Starlight and this one right here, Lotus, are also squishy just by the texture of them. I will say though, while I have seen shades from white labeled, private labeled brands that look like this, they haven't been quite this flaky, which I think also speaks to the fact that when a brand works with a lab, that they can tweak a formula, and it's not always exactly the same as everyone always claims it might be. So just putting that out there. Y'all know already. I don't want to keep going and going when people who have been here already know how I feel about how Reddit takes care of the words private labeling. I'm actually going to take a little bit of that again, that shade Helonious, and pop it on my brow bone. Okay, let's go in with a liner. I'm gonna use the Holograve Funeral Proof liners. I'm still testing these out, but this is in the shade Obituary, but like bitch, like a bitch that you hate. And I'm gonna take that on a Suva 630. A few of you have asked why I stopped putting my Suva code on things. It is actually because Suva has ended their affiliate program, or at least that's the way that it was. Like, it's not the way that it was anymore. I got an email from them that my code would no longer be active, so I took it off of stuff, but I do still like their product, so there you go. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extension. It was like a holiday edition one was the last one that I purchased, so that's why it's covered in the stars. Ooh. I haven't done makeup in a bit, so what the heck is that? Guess it's like dry mascara? This tube is not that old. I think I opened this tube like at the end of January. Okay, after that weird mascara gunk explosion, now we're gonna put on mascara. Okay, I did get a speck of mascara on myself, but while I wait for that to dry so I could scrape it off, let's do waterline liner. So part of me wants to go in with Chartreuse Flash from NYX because it will match Polywog, but I think that Polywog will serve better as a pop in this look, so I think I'm gonna go in with a purple. This is the ColourPop liner in Visuals. Okay, now all that is left for this look is a lip, so let's see what we got. I was gifted this from Ulok. This is the Moisture Shine lipstick in Cosmopolis. And it's like a pinky neutral. Let me just grab a lip liner. This is the ColourPop lip liner in Osis. And then to top that off, I'm actually going to take a little bit of this Rude Cosmetics lip gloss in Lovely. Okay, so this is our finished look. Again, I think that everything in this palette worked really nicely on first impressions. We are going to be doing 2 more looks, so I am going to shoot it over to future Yelly. Welcome to look number 2. Today I think I want to play with the pinks in the palette. So we have a few. We have Possum, or is it Opossum? I always thought it was Possum, but I don't know. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong, if possums and opossums are different things. We have Starlight, Lotus, and then potentially this one right here, King Cup. I'll see if I could fit into maybe the lower lash line. I don't really have like a whole idea, you know, in my mind, but I think I'll figure it out as we go along. So let's zoom in and get started on the look. Just like before, I'm going to prime my eyes with my Urban Decay Primer Potion. Would be interested in hearing your feedback below on the lighting in these shots in particular. So I'm filming after work right now and it rained today, so it is quite dark outside, but I did get a new ring light and I think it's brighter and will definitely help with some of that darkness that we had in some of my past videos where I filmed after work. So I'm gonna start off with a Possum, and I'm gonna take that on this Sigma E25. It's just like a flat blending brush. I do think I want this look to be more contained, not as like blown out as the purple look that we did the other day. So far, I'd say so good. I think that this is a good amount of pigment for a light shade. Now, I'm a light medium. I would say, and those of you who have been here before have heard me say that when foundation companies come out with like 50 shades of that middle range, I could wear all of them. I'm a light medium with a warm undertone. I'm the person that they seem to most cater to. I don't know why that is. It must be the easiest color to formulate, or maybe most of the population has my skin tone, something like that, but I don't know how this would fare on someone with deeper skin. I would be really interested in knowing from individuals who have this palette and have deeper skin how this shade in particular performs. I mean, I think it's looking pretty good. And I think what I'm actually gonna do is just take that all in my crease. I think I've decided not just that inner part, I think I'm gonna take it all throughout my crease. My left eyelid is a little dry, like I see flaky skin on it. I don't know if you can, but seems to be blending fine on top of it, so that is a plus. But sometimes I notice that when my eyelids are peeling, it makes them, you know, patchy when I blend eyeshadows over them. But I'm not noticing anything like that. Let me turn down the brightness a little bit. I think it'll help. Still kind of playing around with this. There we go. I think that that's like an acceptable level of brightness, right? So I have that all in my crease, and what I think I'm gonna do next is take this shade Bogland, which seems to be like a satin reddish brown, and I'm gonna use that to deepen up the outer V. I'm gonna take that on this Blend Bunny B1. And then I'm gonna take that first Sigma brush again, and I'm gonna take a Opossum on that again and blend the edges of that. All right, that seems to have blended out pretty well. I don't love the shape that I have going on here, but I could clean that up. That's a me problem, not the eyeshadow problem. That's I usually do my base after my eyes, and it doesn't matter how crazily I blend, I could fix it. I could still fix it. Here is a Lotus, and then here is Starlight. So I think it's gonna be Lotus inner corner, then Starlight towards the outer corner. I'm going to take NYX glitter glue. This is on a brush from Tarte. This was from like that fairy collection. I'm sorry, they're not numbered. I don't think they make these anymore. Both of these seem to be that like softer, squishier shade, but in particular, Lotus seems incredibly flaky. So if you don't like a flaky shimmer, it's probably not the one for you, but they do look very pretty. Now I'm going to take a pencil brush. This is a Morphe JH39, and I'm going to take a little bit more of Bogland right here and smudge it on the outer corner. So I'm actually going to take that same brush and I'm going to take Starlight in the inner corner on the bottom. You could see now for sure that that is one of those squishy shades. You could see where I just dipped my brush in it. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Lotus as well. This is Magenta Shock from NYX. I think it'll match the lid nicely. Actually, let's play with one of these as a liner. So these are the liquid eyeshadows from Oolak. I was actually gifted these from the brand along with a few other shades, but I think one of these could look really nice. This one's more of like a light pink shimmer, so I think I might put that on my brow bone, but this one in particular, I think I'm gonna do like a little bit of a graphic liner with. This is a Suva Beauty 650. That is an interesting shape that I created, but I made it, so now we gotta make it on the other eye. Those are about as even as I, a human, can get them. I didn't even say that was the shade Chaotic Love, and it's SKU 06. And now I'm gonna take the shade Digital Lavender. This is SKU 05, and I'm just gonna dab a little bit on the brow bone and then blend it with my finger. Oh, that is a lot more than I anticipated. Okay, we'll spread it between both eyes. I will say if you get these, for me, I feel like that first one that I used is more of a metallic, but these ones, these like glitterier ones, this one, and then I have another one called, I think it's called like Starlit or something, that's a green that's more glittery like this. Oh, these are incredibly beautiful. I think I'm gonna put some of that on as highlighter too, because why not? The day is over. I'm just gonna be sitting on my couch after this. I don't even know if you could see that on my face, but that does make a nice sparkly highlight. I did test these out like a full day wear test, but I have not used them on my face before. So let's do mascara and a lip, and this look will be done. My Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extension. Let's see what we have for lips. This is the shade Hidden from Fantasy Cosmetica. It's from the Lost Library collection. This is actually my first time wearing one of these lipsticks. These came right before I had surgery, and I did swatches of the eyeshadows, but I never got to play with these. So, feels nice. It's definitely like a satin. I don't think that this would stay all day, but it's like a traditional satin lipstick. Feels nice. Doesn't really have a scent. It smells more like like when you smell like a cosmetic. It smells more like that. Doesn't have a taste. Seems nice. It's a lipstick. That is look number 2 finished. Thoughts for look number 2. I thought everything that I used today was really nice. In particular, I was actually very impressed with that second satin shade that I used to deepen up the outer V. I think that blended really, really nicely with the matte, and I think that that was very impressive to me because sometimes satins will do that and then sometimes they won't. Anyway, let's kick it over to future Yelly again. Thanks, past Yelly, for passing it off to me. So this is going to be our third and final look, and today I think I want to do something green, swampy. I'm wearing my Eagles gear here today so that it'll match my eyes. So let's see what we're gonna do. Looking at this now, so this is my third look. So I think I've used every shade except Moss, Alligator, Dragonfly, and Heron, right? I think I've used all the other ones in different looks. So maybe what I'll do is do some Dragonfly and Heron in the crease with Moss and Alligator. I don't know if that's gonna necessarily look great, but let's see. Let's go for it and see. So let's see how I can get creative. I'm gonna zoom you in. It's starting to get nice here weather-wise, and I'm very excited about it. So daylight savings time has just passed, and it is currently 5:15 and still sunny outside, and that makes me incredibly happy. Oh no, I'm getting work messages. Why won't you leave me alone? I've served my time. I just washed all my brushes last night, so I don't even have to use my Sigma color switch. That's very exciting. So I'm gonna take the shade Heron, which is this light blue. I'm gonna take that on this JH37 and pop that in the inner corner. I feel like this look in particular would be quintessential Lee because they're always like saying they're the sparkly swamp lad, and I think that this palette in particular is kind of the perfect mix between swamp and ethereal. If you could see all the dryness on my face, I'm so sorry. There's literally nothing I could do about it. I don't know why I'm so dry. I think it has something to do with the weather changing, but I could see my foundation is just like clinging to my dry patches. Next, I'm gonna take Dragonfly, which is this like teal shade. I'm gonna take that on this Blend Bunny B4. What I'm gonna do is pop some of it deeper in the crease where that light blue is, but then continue it out. Next, I'm gonna take this shade Minnow, which is like a gray, and just kind of grunge things up. You know, I don't know if I've used King Cup either, this like orangey shade. Maybe we'll just put that on the bottom, but let's see what we can do with it. I'm gonna take that gray shade on a Blend Bunny B5 and just kind of buff out the edges of that teal. Okay, this might be because I'm dry, but do you see this like patch right here? I think you can see it. It's like right in this area. And again, it might be because I'm dry because it's not doing it over here, but I would, you know, be remiss not to point that out because I'm sure somebody in the comments would be like, what about that patch? Again, it's probably me because the other eye isn't doing it, but I will point out that it is doing it. It looks like no eyeshadow is sticking to my eye in that area. Come on, eyeball. Which, this is something that does tend to happen to me when I'm dry. So, it's not abnormal. Okay, then I'm gonna take this shade Alligator, which is like a gold chartreuse swampy color on this pencil brush. This is a Morphe JH39, and I'm gonna deepen up the outer corner with that. I don't know how this is all gonna look together, but I'm just trying to use the shades I haven't used, okay? Bear with me. This one is more of a satin, kind of like that brown kind of shade we used the other day to deepen things up, and seems to be working fine. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with the glitter glue, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the shade Moss all over my lid, and then I'm gonna probably put King Cup in particular on like the inner corner of my bottom lash line, and then we'll have used every shade in this palette. So let's do it. Here's an old Urban Decay brush that came with the Naked 3. It's like falling apart, but it's perfect for glitter glue. This probably would have been really nice over a black base to make it grungier, but that doesn't particularly go with the crease I went with here, so maybe sometime in the future. This is definitely a flakier shadow than some of the other shimmers in here. See, this is why I'm an eyes before base kind of person. Look what I did to my face. I just like can't be trusted with nice things. Well, now there's just glitter all over my under eye, and that's not the palette's fault. That's my fault, because I'm just such an American treasure. I'm gonna take a little bit more of Alligator on the outer corner to deepen up the shimmer. And then I'm going to take that Blend Bunny B5 with no additional product and just kind of blend the shimmer and mattes together so that there isn't so much of a line of demarcation. Gonna wipe off that pencil brush. This is the Sigma Color Switch. If you don't know what this is, it's like a silicone mat. You could just rub your brushes in it and it'll take the pigment off for another one. It doesn't like super clean them, but it's enough to dip it in something else. I used to use like a Veramone color switch, but those you have to replace very often, where this like I could literally just like wash this with some dish soap. Save the environment. I'm gonna take that JH39 and King Cup, and I'm gonna put that near the inner corner over here, but I'm only gonna bring it like from the inner corner to the middle of my eye, I think. This also seems like it might be more of a satin. Oh, that has like a pretty metallic impact in comparison to the other two. And then we're gonna take Bogland, which is that other like brown satin, and I'm gonna put that on the outer corner of my lower lash line. I think I'm gonna go brown eyeliner. So I'm gonna take the Holograve Cosmetics Funeral Proof Liner in Casket, which is just a deep brown. And then this is a Suva Beauty 630. There's our liner. This one I might have gone a little overboard, but this eye looks fine. So that'll be the eye I photographed for Instagram. Let's look for an eye pencil. I do have these like faux black liners from NYX. They're like dark colors that are almost black. I have like a red, I also have this green, so maybe we'll do like this deep green. This is the shade Black Olive. So I haven't done my highlighter yet, and I think something that'll be nice and can kind of bring it together is in the Blend Bunny Noctilucent palette. We have the shade Transient, which is kind of like a mint, but then we also have the shade Enlighten, which is a yellow. So I'm gonna kind of mix the two for my brow bone and then my cheekbone. Well, I got glitter in my eyebrows, so we might as well just go with it and put glitter in both the eyebrows, because why not? Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extension Mascara. I think I'm gonna go with the Alamar Gloss in Coquetta. It's just like a warm brown, because we got a lot going on with the eyes. And here's our finished, very chaotic look number 3. It's got a lot of color, it's got a lot of sparkle, but we have officially used every shade in this palette. So let's do final thoughts now. Have I enjoyed this palette? Yes, I do like this palette. I think whether or not this was Lee's palette, I would have enjoyed the color story. I think the formula is good. I find this very beginner friendly. I don't think that the mattes in here, these are the first mattes I've ever tried from MBA. I don't think that these are like the most impactful mattes in the world. I think that there are much more impactful mattes out there, but I think that these are buildable, which is to me what is important. And again, very beginner friendly for somebody with color. The eyeshadows that are these squishier ones don't bother me with texture. If you don't like those, I would actually stay away from this palette. There are quite a few of them. The satins I think are fine. They're not like very impactful. I use them as mattes every time I used them in my looks. They worked very well for that. I personally am not a satin all over my eyelid type of person. I know many of you out there are. I just need a little extra oomph, you know? So if I was gonna do that, I would have done something like that, and then I would have put like a Fenty Diamond Balm all over it. That's something that would make it much more impactful for me. Ooh, the mirror just like got me in the face. Overall, I think this is a fun color story. I think that this was a really, really fun idea that Lee put together. Kind of, again, that ethereal meets like swampy grunge. I think that you could do a lot of different looks with this palette. Again, I've used every shade in this palette now, and I am happy with it. I do think that this was a really good purchase. And one of my shades just fell out. So Lotus just fell out on the floor and shattered as I was talking. I tried to press as much as I could of it back in, but I will say that maybe a concern is that these are not glued together as well as they could be. I will glue that back in. That's not a Lee problem. That seems to be like a manufacturing error that I'm sure a machine put this together. And it happens. It's fine. I got most of it back in there, I think. This was one of those squishier shades, so I was able to get it all in. All in all, what I was saying before I covered myself in an eyeshadow here, I think it's a fun palette. I think it's a good palette. We have this conversation every time. Do I think it's worth it? I think that that is what is worth it for you. You need to look at your collection, see what is worth it for you. I can't give you that answer. As always, thank you all so much for being here with me today. I hope you had a great time. Give this a thumbs up with your glittery hands. Let me know down below if you did pick up this palette. Again, I've had some fun with it. I'm not sure if it's been restocked or if they're doing pre-orders. I would say check out the MBA website. I will link it down below as well as linking Lee down below. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay weird. Bye!